Hey, so this is Roman. This is a 1 week update. If you don't know, I just started working at Pollo Campero as a manager. And first of all, it's not Pollo Campero, it's Pollo Campero. The two L's come together and come with like a Y kind of sounding thing. So first things first, I got accepted as working at a manager trainee at Pollo Campero because of my resume. And it's really close to my house, which is what I really do like about the job. I mean, it's like really close. Like I don't even need a car to get there. But um, first things first, how do I feel about working at the job? Training is hard work. Um, I used to be a store manager trainee for Smoothie King, and then I used to be a former manager in Walmart. But working in the back kitchen there and trying to do things like they do, the cooks and the cleaners do, it is not easy. And my back would be killing me. I'm gonna be honest, I think I wanted to quit my first day working there because it's actually been a while since I worked. But multiplied by it being really hard to work there and being afraid of getting fired so quickly. Roman, why would you be afraid of getting fired so quickly? Well, you see, at Pollo Campero, tú necesitas habla español. Y soy un chino y gringo. So it's like, yo necesito aprender más español to trabajo aquí, okay? And I've been trying really hard to up my Spanish to actually work here. And tu lista tu orden? Algo más? You know, I've been trying to search up phrases and whatnot to actually work at this location. And, you know, I actually wasn't fired for the first week, which has blown my mind. Week 2 is coming up, I actually start tomorrow. And I wanted to say that I am afraid because I would have to be learning drive-through. And let's just understand this real quick, guys. If I don't really speak that well of Spanish, how am I going to be communicating with customers there? And one of the big problems with working here is that 90% of customers that come to Pollo Campero habla español, okay? They all speak Spanish, basically. And so I think the chicken's really good. The reason I actually even applied for the job is because I wanted to eat free chicken and fries, as stupid as that sounds. And yes, you do actually get a free meal working there. So I don't really have a complaint in that department. Maybe the pay is a little bit less than I expected, but hey, I have a job now. I'm trying my best. And I think a lot of things have come to mind when getting this job, actually. And first thing I wanted to say was I'm very grateful to have it. I remember working there the first day, and I think I wanted to cry and quit. It was really hard work working at Pollo Campero because even though I was a former manager trainee, store manager trainee at Smoothie King, former manager at Walmart, I got my food certificate license, food manager license, whatever, about like a year and a half ago. And I didn't really understand why I needed it to work these jobs because, you know, the jobs were a lot more easier than me taking the test. And for context, I took the test in 3 days on accident and passed. So I'm pretty grateful for that. But I didn't expect to really use, I expected to use a lot what I used in the test in real life, and I just never did. Maybe like 5% at most. But working at Pollo Campero, I kind of understand when working in the kitchen why you need to understand these things because it is busy, first of all. I don't know how the cooks work so hard as they do. I mean, you know, they always say Hispanic workers are strong workers. Yeah, no doubt. The person training me, he is the hardest working kid I've ever seen in my life. He works like 70 hours a week in the kitchen. And I mean, like, solid trainee, okay? 70 hours a week. It's crazy. And I mean, like I said, it was so hard trying to work there for that first week. I really wanted to quit, and with me doubting myself of being afraid of getting fired as well because I am not fluent in Spanish at all by any means, I was really afraid that I was just going to get fired randomly, like on my first week. And surprisingly, I did not. I don't know why, because my Spanish is still not up to par. I've been trying really hard to learn Spanish, and I wanted to talk to you guys about what I'm doing to actually learn it. So we'll go through the process of what happened. I got hired, and the first thing my dad told me was I need to start learning Spanish every single day to have a chance of like trying to get fluent. And this has just come from like an understanding of my parents and me wanting a better future for myself. This is why they try to push me to trying to, you know, speak some Chinese. And Chinese is a whole different ball game. I just want to get into that real quick. Learning Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, not the easiest thing possible, especially when both your parents don't speak it and most of your friends don't.
But we tried, it didn't work. I didn't want to do it either after realizing how much harder it was to learn Chinese. But while doing Chinese, they also wanted me to learn Spanish on top of it. And, I did learn Spanish for quite a while, maybe like 3 years. And I kind of just gave up when I was about like 13 or something. Other than that, like, I haven't really been upping my Spanish game at all. I really just want to be clear about that. And I believe that'd be a good thing to actually learn Spanish and try to be having the goal be native fluent speaking Spanish. And with that in mind, with me having like a Mexican girlfriend and me having, Hispanic friends, I think it just is a good idea to just know more languages in general. And being trilingual at the very least, instead of just being bilingual, I think is a very strong skill set that a lot of people just won't have in general. And so with that in mind, what have I been doing to try to up my Spanish? Originally, I kind of thought like, oh, maybe I won't really need to know Spanish too well because, you're supposed to be bilingual to work at this place. But with a lot of people in the kitchen not really speaking English at all, actually, it was really hard to understand directions if they weren't telling it to me in English. And that, it really made me depressed because I really thought like I had, a decent opportunity of working here as a manager. But what I've been doing is I went on YouTube. I started watching videos of people speaking Spanish conversations, and I didn't really feel like that was working out too well because I've watched like Spanish shows before, but I never really got to understand too much because my vocabulary isn't too hot. I then also started looking at like articles and reading them out loud, but once again, I don't really understand reading out loud Spanish too well, so I didn't feel like it was the best fit for me. But I tried this for about 2 or 3 days and then shifted over into deciding on what the best thing would be for me to do is. And I think I relied on a friend I used to go to boxing with when I used to go to a Hispanic gym. And I contacted him. I've been talking to him in Spanish every once in a while. And not only that, he's been helping me with my vocabulary so I can actually say the words correctly. I'm not a no sabo kid, but it's like very hard to translate English into Spanish when you don't really know your Spanish too well, so it's like broken Spanish, and then like try and actually say that in a business environment. And so he's been helping me, trying to give me some answers as to what I can say when I'm at the drive-thru or talking to clientele. And other than that, I've also, once again, I have a Mexican girlfriend, so I did try, talking to her in Spanish. And it's been, I think it's a better thing to converse in Spanish than actually just, try and read it and try to listen to it and repeat it to yourself. I think stuff like that, like Pimsleur, isn't really the best way of learning Spanish. It's just having actual conversation. And one of the best things I have for me right now is the immersion in the environment where everyone really speaks Spanish. So everyone can be a teacher to me. I do want to learn Spanish. I really think it'd be a good skill set on top of just, the idea of being fluent in Espanol. I think that just would be amazing. But yeah, so right now, it's my first week. I need to up my Spanish game as much as I can. And yeah, it's been a hard first week. I'll be honest, I was not ready for the amount of work it would take to work in the back kitchen with like prepping and everything. And I prepped that smoothie came to and everything, but it's just not the same. When you have the grease traps in and you have to clean everything, everything takes so much longer when you add oil and grease. I just didn't understand that, and now that I do, this has become a very valuable learning lesson for me. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Have I talked about not wanting to work there after my first day? My mental got better after day 3 or 4, I'd say that, because I tried to come in with a new light. The things I were doing weren't working, and then after about day 3 or 4, I kind of just was like trying to learn Spanish from like my friends and whatnot to the best that I could. And then if I had a word that I didn't really understand that was used a lot in the cocina, then I would just write it down and try to say it to myself. Like I would say pierna de pollo or pechuga de pollo. And it's really just like saying the things over and over again and trying to connect like relations to the words. So yeah, overall, what do the people at work think about my Spanish, which I think is a very noticeable thing? They laugh at it. I don't really know what else to say about that, if I'm gonna be honest. It's embarrassing, but once again, I think it's surprising that I have the job I'm grateful to have it so close to my house, and you know, an opportunity to immerse myself in a Spanish environment and try to learn Spanish while working there. Other than that, I do have really bad hours where I work at night. Usually it'd be from like 3 or 4 till 11 at night, but since you know I never really get out at 11 at night, it's usually like 11:30, and people usually leave the store at 12. So I actually get off early, if that makes any sense, during closing hours. And yeah, it's been a hard first week. It's kind of been setting me back with not wanting to do anything on my days off or when I'm off from work. But with me still in college and with me wanting to do other things, it has opened my mind to becoming more of a hard worker, I'd say, and trying to assess what I want to do with my life. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think managing people in a restaurant is really something that I'm too keen on doing in the long term for my career. But as of right now, I've been trying to focus in what I can and can't do. One things that I can do is just try my best at work. If I get fired someday, so be it. I am on the schedule this week, so I guess I'm still working, but I can only try my best. I can only keep improving, and I should try to keep focusing myself on trying to, you know, speak Spanish and do other things outside of work. It's just been really hard because I just feel how depressing it is to get your ass kicked at work and try to come at home and then do something on top of that. And it's been a struggle. Other than that, I don't really know what else to talk about. It's just I'm gonna keep trying my best and move forward with it. And yeah, doing drive-through and doing face-to-face customer service might suck when I'm trying to learn it, but you know, I think the worst has yet to come, so I can only keep persevering and trying my best. That's really it. And this week I'll be trying to improve my Spanish to speak in the drive-through. And hey, I can only do what I'm given, and I'm given an opportunity right now, so I'm gonna keep doing. My name is Roman, aka Young Bizriz. This is an update from my first week out working at Pollo Campero. Thank you so much for watching. Do you guys have experiences as well of working at locations or working as a manager, working in fast food? Did you hate it, love it? What was your experience like? Cause yeah, I think I got the two easiest managing food jobs beforehand. You know, it was giving out samples at Walmart and then doing smoothies. So I think I've had a very easy ride up to this point, and now that I kind of know hard work, I think I want to be able to push myself to learn the job here, but also push myself to be a better person with better skill sets for future jobs and future opportunities. That's really it. I hope you guys have a great day and hope you guys learned something from me. If I had to say one thing, it's that if you have a dream or goal, you know, figure out what steps you can take to achieve it and then put your mind and body towards it. So with everyday, you know, repetitive process, so you can actually achieve your goal. Because if not, you'll have to do something like this where you are worried about losing your job, worried about the bills, and worried about your future. But hey, there's not a lot else to say. Take care. Have a great day. Peace.